Welcome to TiEcon Live. I'm Neha Dadbhawala. Today I have the pleasure of introducing Lara Druyan. She is a general partner with Allegis Capital. Prior to that, she has 7 years of VC experience and also a graduate from Harvard University MBA program. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you.
So Lara, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, prior to venture, which I had the impeccable timing of getting in May of 2000, I spent time on Wall Street, and more relevant to this field, I spent several years at Silicon Graphics doing product management, largely in software. So I have a lot of empathy for the entrepreneur. Doing software at a hardware company is a very difficult way to make a living, so I've had to go beg, borrow, and steal to get money for a budget.
So that's interesting. What are you looking for from this conference from a VC standpoint, and also what are you looking to give back?
From a VC standpoint, I mean, I'm always interested, as every VC is interested, in meeting great people with great ideas, because whether it's this idea or their next idea, you can't invest in it if you don't see it. And so every VC is interested in meeting great people. And in terms of looking to give back, I mean, that's a big part of what every VC does, hopefully,
right.
When they meet an entrepreneur, whether or not they invest, hopefully people leave with some piece of information that they didn't have before, or perspective they didn't have before.
So especially with the eBazaar, there are some things that an entrepreneur should know prior to they coming to pitching their idea to the VCs. Can you hit on some of the points that, as a mentorship, what would you ask them to do and be prepared with?
So practice, 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 if you've never done this before. The first thing I would say the most common mistake entrepreneurs make when they pitch VCs is they give a product pitch rather than an investor pitch. And those are two really different things. Investors focus on big markets first, and team, depending on the VC, second. And third is the technology. I mean, they want things to be defensible, or they want to have some barrier to entry. But if you really spend all your time focusing on the technology, you can get lost in the weeds pretty quickly. And by the time you get to the fact that it's a big market, the VC, who probably has ADD about as badly as anybody you've ever met, is on to the next thing. So really getting across why it's a compelling investment opportunity is critical. And that starts with the size of the market, why you can execute, and so on.
Also, there's a lot of talk about the economy falling, and there's not a lot of opportunities out there, and people don't want to invest. Now, how far is it true, and what are some of the markets that you're investing in? I think that actually, if you look historically, that a lot of terrific companies were founded at very difficult times. Partly because when times are difficult, people tend to focus on the things that are most important, on your first customers and where you're really going to get money from, and that kind of discipline actually translates into some terrific companies. My fund was an investor in Ironport. We did that after the bubble burst, and it was the biggest return, or the biggest, largest venture exit for a company acquired by Cisco since the bubble burst. And I think they were founded in the 01-02 timeframe when there wasn't a whole lot going on here in Silicon Valley. So it's okay to be optimistic about...
Oh, absolutely. And and frankly, there's a lot of venture money out there. So I don't think it's a bad time to go raise money. Not a great time to try to go public, but that's a different problem. In terms of what we're interested in, we have most recently invested in a couple of things in software as a service. We're in the process of investing in something that is looking at the smartphone as really the next big computing platform, because we believe that's true. Wireless is an area of interest for us. And we still look at some things in the consumer internet. I personally think I know that women are very underserved on the net, and would like to see some companies in that space.
So you are one of the first women VCs that have actually participated with us. And apart from being a VC, you're also a mother of two twins. How do you balance your work, your professional life versus your personal life? And is it really tough to be a woman out there in this mad world?
I don't think I do anything well, or I feel like I make compromises in all parts of my life at different times. I think that for anybody, male or female, the balance, if you have a family and you have a career that is high stress and high amount of hours, I think you're always making compromises, and I'm not sure that that varies between the genders.
One last question when we close out.
Sure.
If you were to be written about in a newspaper, what would your headlines actually read? Oh my gosh.
And we all hope to be famous someday, and we all hope that we are someday written
I
about.
actually don't want to be famous. Just to be clear, I like my privacy. I like being under the radar, and I don't think. At least for me, my job is about the entrepreneur, and so I wouldn't necessarily. My job is to support the entrepreneur.
Right.
I really. It's not about me. It's not
Right.
about me as a VC or me as an investor. It should really be about them. So if I were famous for anything, I would hope it would be for good work I did outside of my day job, and more about something I did on the board of a nonprofit for that than it would be for, because if a company is successful, it's not successful because of me.
Thank you for being with us today. This was Lara here at TiEcon Live.